DBF is a nonprofit. It depends on sponsors and donations to bring great authors to Decatur each year. Please consider a tax-deductible donation to support the festival by going to the festival website. And lastly, please take a moment to ensure your phones are off. Now, I'd like to introduce our moderator today, Topher Payne. He is a successful playwright and screenwriter. His sixth film for the Hallmark Channel will premiere this Christmas. Topher is a contributor for WABE's City Lights Collective and an inductee in the Georgia Theater Hall of Fame. Welcome, Topher. I'd also like to introduce our author today, Landon Bryant. He is a dynamic force in the world of social media, rapidly gaining fame as an influential Southern storyteller. Known for his captivating speaking engagements and Southern flair, Landon leaves audiences deeply satisfied with his influential and authentic voice from the South. His new book is 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, y'all. Welcome, Landon. Over to you, Topher. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I was first introduced to Landon's work by my husband, Charlie, who was born just up the street at what was then DeKalb Medical. But his mother is an Ashkenazi Jew from Chicago, and his father came from a Portuguese family that settled in Connecticut. So this led to a man who cannot make a pot of grits. I am from Kosciuszko, Mississippi, which is about an hour and a half north of you?
We're practically neighbors.
We're probably cousins. And have spent the last several years with a man who loves me very much and is often very confused by the words coming out of my mouth. So when I say I need to see about supper and Charlie says, tell me specifically what that means. And he mentioned that he had seen this guy online who says a lot of the same weird stuff you do, and it's really helping me understand you. And so I was introduced to Landon by a man who helped forge better communication in my marriage. If you have not had the chance to see his wonderful take on The Night Before Christmas, get ready because your aunt has a stocking stuffer this year that is going to bring her so much joy. Landon, you came in directly from Mississippi today, did you?
Came from Mississippi. I've got to spend some time at home recently, and it's very nice.
That has got to be a rarity for you lately.
I have to tell y'all before we get going, one of my first times that I felt like people are seeing my stuff and it's getting kind of out of control was when people that are in Topher's movies on Hallmark started following me. And I was like, wait a second.
I mean, yeah, once you've got Barbara Niven.
It's literally. But it's gotten much bigger than that now, but that was very exciting to me. I really can't believe I'm sitting here on the stage with you, of all people.
Well, I am so glad we could get two Mississippi Mama's boys together.
Literally.
And I am so glad that in this ongoing cultural anthropology project that you have in exploring the language that connects us, so much of, I think, Southern history, Southern traditions, of late contemporary takes on it are casting a critical eye and absolutely need to be asking the question that when we talk about Southern culture, who are we talking about? And who are we leaving out of that story? And that is essential for connecting communities. What I love about what you're doing is finding those threads that connect us. And even better, the nuance of where things deviate in one direction or another.
Well, it's very fun, and it's all been a giant accident. I did not mean to be doing this. I'm just a silly goose. And I talk entirely too much. And that's why this started, literally why it started. I've known my wife since we were in second grade. No, it's not cute. I was not available. I was not like in the picture until I grew my hair out and got much older and like covered my ears up. So we were not high school sweethearts. I was just her little minion, you know? But so she was there for all the stories, and I love to tell stories, and I love storytelling. And one day, I was telling her a story for who knows how many times, and also a story she was there for. And her eyes glazed over, and she was like, "What if you told your stories to the internet?" Which is like a nice Southern lady way of being like, you can't say that again. Like, I can't hear you say that. And I'm really glad that she did, because I started to talk to the internet about these stories and all these things that we have to say. And I told one specific story, and I used some language in that story, but this specific story is what went very viral for me. And it opened up my mind, and I'll tell you it really quick. It is about Walmart High School. I don't know how many of y'all are familiar with Walmart High School, but I went to Walmart to high school. Literally.
I heard about this.
Literally.
It happened.
Yeah, it was wild. It was a good time, honestly.
It was a wonder of ingenuity.
It was a good time. So Laurel, Mississippi in the early 2000s. You were there. So I know, and y'all all ought to be ashamed because you don't think I was doing this, but I was camping in the woods, and I can tell y'all don't think that that's what I was doing, but I was. I was camped in the woods with my friends, and it was spring break, so nobody was hurt in this story, so you can laugh about it. It's fine. And the school, frankly, needed a renovation. The school got blown away by a tornado, like blown down. It was time, like I said. So we had 9 weeks left of school, and I know the best and brightest minds in Laurel, they all got together, and I know that their first consideration was like, let's call it for the year. But there's like a lot of state required things that happened that last 9 weeks, like graduation and state testing, those things, small things. And we had just gotten a new super Walmart in Laurel, and it was honestly like pinkies up. We were stoked. We were like, this is fancy. You can get your tires changed and groceries and some clothes and a toy. A lot of stuff was going on. But that meant that the Walmart was available, the Walmart by the Krogers. And they pulled the shelves out of that Walmart and left all the signs, built a plywood cubicle maze in that Walmart, and sent our 7th through 12th grade, like 2,500 students, to school there. And
the cafeteria was
layaway. And the show choir was in the garden center. And I had art in the snack section. One thing that really got all over me was the signs were all still there, right? And 7th grade got sports. I was in 8th grade, and we got the literal baby section. And that was hard to take. Our principals greeted us wearing Walmart vests, and then they thought that was great, so they did it every day. Our bell was an air horn, and that's why I'm a little jumpy to this day. I feel like, the intercom was the Walmart intercom, so we were in everybody's business, which is great. I liked that. They gave up on that after like 3 days, though, and if you came to get your child, they would be like, good luck. And actually, I got grounded one time because I was at the Arby's instead of the Walmart when they sent my daddy to my classroom. One time. That Arby's never did better than that year because it was in the parking lot.
Oh, it must have been a dream come true.
It was great. And
they were firing off an air horn in front of a bunch of kids that just survived a tornado.
Multiple times a day.
Do they know what a tornado sounds like?
Nobody cares.
Okay.
Nobody cares. And that's got me in trouble too before we'll talk about that in a second. But so this Walmart was wild. It was like such a wild experience. One of my greatest accomplishments, and a thing I'll get to say for the rest of my life, is I'm literally pardoned by the governor of Mississippi, pardoned almost like a criminal for the Algebra 1 state test. That was the first year that it was required for graduation. You had to have it to graduate. And we took that test in that Walmart. And then 6 weeks later, the governor was like, actually, y'all are pardoned from that test. We're not going to make y'all have to take that. And I love that he waited till he got our scores. Now, later in life, you can't tell like college professors that you're pardoned from math. They don't agree. And that was difficult for me, but I still stand by that I'm pardoned from your algebra. I cannot do X plus Y. I'm not legally required to. Because I was at Walmart, like I was literally at the Walmart. But when I talked about that story, and people graduated from that Walmart, by the way, and the hospital bought it. So now people work there. It's like a life-changing place. But when I was telling that story, I said regular people things like fixin' to, and Mike could. And somebody in my comments, I don't know I need to go back and find out who this was because they changed my whole life. Somebody asked me, what do you mean fixin' to? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean fixin' to? Like that is hard to take. Fixin' to is fixin' to. And so I said, let's discuss fixin' to. And it blew up from there. And that's why we're even in this room, was because of that one Walmart story and the phrase "fixin' to."
Now, just for the benefit of those gathered here, so that we can be educational and entertaining, if you could tell the difference between might, could, and might could.
Okay, so one of my favorite phrases, and one of the best ones, because you could do something, right? And that's fine, but you might could do something too. So if you could do something, you have the option to. Mm-hmm. If you might could do something, you have the option to, and you might. It also... It's a great way of saying no, you know? Like, are we going to go to the panel? Well, we might could. Doesn't that make you feel good? Like, we'd love to come, and we might be there. Instead of just being like, no. I can't imagine like an outright no. So might could is excellent. It's also, and you all look like you're very smart people and academic. Might coulds proper grammar, y'all. It's a double modal. If there's a term for it, then it's proper, right? Mm-hmm. So... And I said that in a grammar class at the University of Southern Mississippi, and nobody argued with me. So I think it's proper.
Yeah. I am, as a playwright, obsessed with the specifics of language, the specifics of people's word choices. The example I always use is, in English, I'm sorry and I apologize mean the same thing unless you're at a funeral. There it is. And I'm interested to know, as you have now been touring and getting to know new areas, are you finding people bringing new linguistic gymnastics to you that you were previously unaware of?
Every day. And I'll show y'all. I don't even have to work for the content because it just comes to me. Even at this festival, I've written a couple of things down. I have a reminder on my phone, and I just add to it anytime somebody says something out of pocket, which is all the time. And so it is this long. It's like huge. And I just add to it every day. Like one time, my grandmother walked into my house, and I said, well, how are you doing, Grandma? And she's a 1 foot in the grave type of a lady since I was born, 1 foot in the grave. And she said, well, I'd have to feel better to die. And I was thinking, wait, hold on. But just, wait. So it just walks in my house sometimes. I don't even have to leave. Like, the content is like everywhere. But then the more I get to go around, the more I realize the stuff that is unique to us, and also things that people say that are different from us. And I love that. Linguistics is so much fun. And I think it's just the funnest thing. We've got some phrases, y'all. They don't say them everywhere. Turns out.
Now, because you are in a safe space. You are in a safe space to say the phrase safe space. That's how safe this space is. So I don't think it's any shocking news to learn that you're a bleeding heart liberal living in Mississippi. You get away with putting a little broccoli in the mac and cheese sometimes, in being able to get some messages put forward about community and about connection.
Well, I just have a lot of respect for everybody, and I love where I'm from, and I love people, and I think that we all have these connections, and I love to find the connections. I would much rather find something that we have in common than something that we have different. And I think that if we can learn to argue about mayonnaise, and we will argue about mayonnaise.
Why is there an argument? You say Dukes, and then what?
You say Dukes, and then the Miracle Whip people show up. Or the Hellman's folks.
Look, Miracle Whip is, I'm sure, lovely in its own regard, but we can all agree that is not mayonnaise. Even Miracle Whip tells you it's not mayonnaise.
Say that. Go make a video and say that on the internet and just see.
Says the man who advocated for putting crushed up crackers in deviled eggs. Sorry to call you out.
My biggest failure so far. I have to explain that to everybody. Anytime I'm on the deviled eggs apology tour. On the deviled eggs apology tour. So to explain this, I have to explain how I make my videos. So I set my phone up and I just talk at it for like 5 minutes. If you're an English language arts teacher, here's your lesson on main idea. It's very easy. I talk at the phone for like 5 minutes about a topic, deviled eggs in this case. And then I cut it down to like a minute and a half for Instagram, something like that. And sometimes I am not paying attention and stuff will slip by. and I will have said something that I didn't mean to say. And it just slips by in my mind. And when I was talking about deviled eggs, I was listing things to the camera of things I've seen in deviled eggs. But when I made the video, it made it seem like these are things in deviled eggs, you know? And I listed, like, I've seen onions and you got the paprika and all that stuff. But one time there was crackers in the deviled eggs. It's crumbled up crackers in the stuff you mess with in the yolk, and on top of it. It was saltine crackers and Ritz crackers one time too. And so I saw that just the one time. And when I was talking about it, I specified, I was like, and one time, y'all, you can put Ritz crackers in your deviled eggs. But all I kept in the video was you can put Ritz crackers in your deviled eggs. The Food Network called me. Literally called me. And now I'm friends with them because of these deviled eggs. And they were like, what are you talking about? And it was my mother-in-law who did it. So I can't even
so you couldn't even call out the source.
But it's been like such a prominent thing in my life since I said those words that we had to just come out with it at dinner one night and be like, listen, I told the internet you put Ritz crackers in your deviled eggs, and they're quite upset.
During the pandemic, I did a series of alternate endings to children's books. The Giving Tree became The Tree Who Set Healthy Boundaries.
I love that. I love that series, by the way. I think it's so brilliant.
And I just did it for, kids in Atlanta to be able to like have something for story time, and it blew up. And one of the ones that I did was, I Love You Forever. I like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. It's so sweet, right up until she crawls into her 35-year-old son's bedroom. And so I made a version of it where when mom tries to crawl into her now grown son's bedroom, she encounters bars on the windows. And he says, I love you forever, I like you for always, but what's going on isn't working for me. I had to go on the Canadian national news to defend this because I Love You Forever turns out to be like the official children's book of Canada.
Who would have known?
And there's pressure points that you can hit when you are talking about, forget about politics or religion. I mean, the things that really matter, like food and children's books.
Like sweet cornbread or not.
And
I got into it with that one too. One day I got real bold.
I wasn't going to bring it up.
The only time this has ever happened, I don't know what, my coffee was stronger that day or something, and I made a video and I was like, cornbread's not sweet, and I'll stand on it and I'll say it with my chest or something like that. And then everybody yelled at me and I was like, I didn't mean it. I take it back. I'm so sorry. I respect your cornbread. And I do.
It depends on the occasion. But sweet cornbread is not cornbread.
Say it's supposed to be savory.
No, it's corn cake.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that's what my me mama called it.
But you know what I got in the most trouble for? With the literal government? Tornadoes. They come up, and I was talking about tornadoes, and I'm just going to tell you the process of tornadoes. So it's a stormy day. All right. Then when you hear there's a tornado watch, and we're all like, cute. Like, that's so cute that y'all are watching out for us, And then you hear it's a tornado warning, and you're like, okay, I'll turn the news on. For us, it is Patrick Bigbie is his name, which I think is a great meteorologist name. It would be better if it was Patrick Bigglesby. He doesn't agree. So Patrick Bigbie shows up on your TV, and you're like, okay, I'm paying attention. It's when his sleeves get rolled up is when we're really paying attention in Laurel. I don't know. Sometimes there's a set of suspenders that come out, and that's really exciting. But there's a moment when you're like, okay, we got to actually pay attention. And in that moment, you're like, that's when you should go to the safe space. That's like when you should go to the safe space. But about half of y'all are headed to the window, are to the porch to look for the tornado. And what are we going to do if we see it? Like, what's the plan? I don't know. But I'm doing it's the same exact thing. But the National Weather Service does not want you to say that. And they were like, please take this down. And I was like, no. And they're like, no, take it down. And I was like, no. So I blocked the National Weather Service, like, and now every now and then I'll be like, tornadoes today, don't go look at them, haha, unblock National Weather Service. And then when they like it, I'm like, okay, great, we're safe to talk, and I block them again. And that's how that goes. But I do support them like we need them, but also sometimes you got to block them, like you got to, it's like a whole thing.
My mama lives outside Clinton now, which is Clinton. There is no O in that word. Clinton. Again, another thing my husband pointed out. He's like,
wow, I didn't even realize that it is Clinton. But
yeah, it is Clinton. Yeah. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton. There is no O in that name.
That's wild.
And so their meteorologist, David Hartman, that the weather's bad when he prays on air.
One time, y'all, Patrick Bigby got to write, the audio went out, but we could still see the video, and he started writing posters, and they weren't even to us, they were to his wife. Telling her to go get in the closet, and not the rest of us. We were like...
Not the rest of them, just...
What do we... It was a panic. It was bad. That's the truth.
And this is why it's a fun place to be from, y'all. I imagine within your community, there is a wide range of viewpoints and lived experiences. Even if you say you fell accidentally into it, you've been doing it for too long, you just published your second book, like at this point, it's your gig.
Yeah.
So, as a communicator, as a facilitator of conversations, as someone who examines the source material of who we are and where we came from and what is worth preserving, what advice would you have for communicating with people you love who see the world sometimes insurmountably differently?
Yeah. Well, you have to meet people where they are. I mean, you have to meet people where they are and what they know. And I have found doing this, it's actually been such a connection to my own community and people that may think differently than me, right? But when you're celebrating the things that they love and you're celebrating things that you love from their past, like a lot of what I'm talking about is what I remember from my great grandmother, who's not around anymore, from going to the beauty shop with her and from going to the beauty parlor with my grandmother and my aunts, and all of them were there, and I eavesdropped on them for so long. And now I get to just
what was the name of that beauty parlor?
All that. Oh my gosh, it's changed so many times. But I know there was it was a Just Teasin'.
Oh, that's good.
There was a Just Teasin' at one point.
Mm-hmm. My grandmother went to the Hairport.
Oh, that's good.
And my mother went to the Cut and Curl.
Yeah, the Cut and Curl. But I just think it's very important to find those inroads of the things. I'm trying to celebrate the things that I love about where I'm from, and then that opens up the conversation to a lot of other stuff. If you come in and tell people that they're wrong and that you disagree with them and that's your attitude from the beginning and that's how you view people, then they're going to know that from the beginning. So it's very important to meet people where they are. And I am literally just a silly goose. So I can never approach any person and be like, I am better than you. I know more than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm more experienced than you. That's not my vibe at all. It's not a way I am set at all. So I think it's the approach of people. It's like, are you coming here with a point to tell people what they should know? Are you coming here to listen and to learn and then to share the things that you know in a positive way? And that's what I try to do. And I really love to get to do it. I really do.
So what is it about Southern Mamas and Christmas?
It's our time to shine. It's our time to shine. We get to show out and show up. It's a real good time. Hospitality is our love language, and Christmas is a chance to really do the hospitality up.
It's an opportunity for the not gaudy to get gaudy.
You can get as gaudy as you want to.
Get as gaudy as you want for Jesus.
And I love that.
And because you're not showing out if it's Christmas time.
Right.
Because then you are doing it for Christmas.
Same with Easter. You got to go bigger, go home.
I feel like Easter is just like how they satiate themselves until they can make it to Christmas again.
It's our Met Gala,
Yeah, exactly. And then, daddies let mamas have Christmas season as payback for mamas going through football season and everything they had to do, going to all the games and everything. And now it's time for Mama's Super Bowl, which is Christmas. What inspired you to take on Christmas as your next project?
Again, I didn't mean to, but I'm glad that I did. It was making content. I was making content every day. So when I first started doing this and making content, I was very specific about that. I needed to be very consistent with it, and I needed to show up every day, even between 4 and 7 every day. I decided to do that because an algorithm is like kind of like a dog, you know, like you got to train it. You got to teach it when to be where. And so I decided to teach the algorithm by being there at the same time every day with the same kind of video and the same content, and it kind of worked. So I was really specific about I've got to make something every day, and that got really hard, especially because I'm really bad at being prepared and I wouldn't make anything ahead of time. Now I've learned to batch make stuff, so like I don't have to make a video every day. Like I can make some on Mondays for the week, that type of a thing. But when I first started doing it, I literally for a year, no matter what, made a video that day. No matter what, I would make it every day. And so near Christmas time, I was like, obviously I should do 'Twas the Night Before Christmas as a video. So I went to the back of my room and I just made up the poem in like 3 minutes, put it out there on a video, and now it's
You're like Dolly with Jolene. It just poured right out of you.
No, you know I love Dolly Parton, so I love that so much. I'm circling her in every direction that I can, y'all. I took the book deal I got because it came with the chance of Dolly Parton writing a foreword for it, and she did not. But I still took it. I was like,
still
done.
closer to Dolly than I've ever
Done. You know, I've been in the room with her. I've been like that far away from her, and she's looked at me at least 3 times. And at the last time that I saw her, I feel like she recognized me. I can't confirm that, but I don't know.
But we will assume that she did.
I'm real good friends with her sister and her aunt and her niece, and like I'm just working my way.
Just working your way in.
Got to deal with Dollywood.
It's a big family. You got a lot of
any way I can get in. I'm coming for Dolly. Like, and I don't know what I'm going to do when I actually meet her, but
one of the things that I really appreciate about your new Christmas book is that at the end of this lovely, entertaining, very well illustrated,
hilarious illustrations. I got to tell y'all something about that.
Tell me.
The illustrator is from the United Kingdom, and part of it involved a pallet on the floor, and which is my litmus test for stand-up shows. I go and ask, do y'all know what a pallet is? And if they don't know what a pallet is, I'm like, okay, so you're rich. So y'all are wealthy. She drew wooden pallets with a kid sleeping on it. So I had to be like, you got to redo that. I thought that was so fun. But yes, carry on.
It means you weren't high enough in the cousin ranking to land the sofa.
Right.
Yeah. And so you're on we're just going to make you a little pallet on the floor.
But it's not wooden pallets that you would pack stuff on.
No. It's what we would now call yoga mats. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
I don't know why they had them, but yeah. Or the cushion from a sofa that no longer is in the house. Right. And they just kept those in the attic. But after you go through this charming little Christmas poem with beautiful illustrations, the nice little bonus that lets me know you were brought up right is at the end of the book is a recipe. And anybody who tells me a sweet story and then gives me a little something to eat, I know that they come from a good family. So
well, you got to have a sweet potato pie, you know? Like, I think that's such an interesting thing. It was interesting to me because everybody was repulsed by the idea of a sweet potato pie on my editing team because none of them are Southern. And I didn't know that sweet potato pies were just kind of like, I didn't know that was just a Southern thing. So I was like, out of all the desserts, y'all hated that one the most. Obviously, I'm putting sweet potato pie in here. Like, that's y'all are gonna have to try it, and they did and loved it, and I think that was so much fun.
Yeah, when my daddy passed, and that was the first time Charlie experienced the full onslaught of my family,
funeral food committee, and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And Daddy passed Thanksgiving week, which meant everybody already had something ready to go. And so that food came so fast and so furious. And he just, I've never seen so much beige food in my life. I'm like, that's because the base of all of it is cream of mushrooms.
Literally. Cream of chicken.
Cream of chicken, cream asparagus, cream of potato if you've got vegetarians in the family. The one. They're not local. We were talking about the experience of being out on the road promoting your work. And one of the delightful things, when I'm out at theaters producing my work, or when you're at a book signing, you'll run into people who probably very justifiably feel that they know you. And you may have even encountered this person in the flesh before. More likely you have not, but they do feel that personal connection. And one of the beautiful things about being Southern is the myriad ways for you to soften that experience for the person who knows you and you have no idea who they are.
Exactly. I'm actually like heavily trained in this area because I experience face blindness. I have a really hard time remembering people's faces. I even used to get so upset about it because I couldn't like draw somebody's face. Turns out it's like a whole thing. And I get people confused all the time. So I've been training for this my whole life because I never know who anybody is. Mm-hmm. So, and you live in a small town. I leave the house. I know somebody's going to speak to me or say, go tell my daddy what I was doing. Literally the first time I went to the liquor store, 3 minutes later, my dad called me. So like that's where we're at with that type of a situation. Got it. But when you live this way, you can, one of my favorite phrases to use, and it's risky, but if you ask them, how's your mom and them? That sounds like you know their mom and them.
Oh, I can go one better. Mm-hmm. How's your mama? Is she doing better?
Oh yeah, that's good. What's something exciting y'all got going on over there?
Yeah. I hardly recognized you. What have you been doing to yourself?
Exactly. It's very fun. It's a very fun skill, and it translates very much to going around the nation touring because I same thing at home. Yeah. Act the same way at home.
Yeah, you say the same thing when you run into somebody at Kroger's and you have no idea who they are. But there is so much culturally that is built up in the experience of being Southern that is dedicated to the comfort of others, which can be really ironic given the history of this region, given the things that we get deliriously wrong, that we still get deliriously wrong. It is amazing how much we get that right.
It is. It's really incredible. I'm from Jones County, Mississippi. It's the free state of Jones. We like seceded from the Confederacy in the middle of it. And that sounds like sort of heroic, but it was more like we're not doing that right now kind of a situation. It's a little bit more of a lazy thing than like a political stance.
I'm just going to loll about it.
It's very fun to be around from people like that because it's like this isolated pocket in the world where all that matters is Jones County to Jones County and all that matters is Laurel to Laurel. And that's where the base of everything comes from that, you know? So everybody takes care of everybody. So I grew up in a house where in a world where like if I walk, it was kind of like a get outside and we'll see you at dark type of a thing, but it was because there was like 5 or 6 houses on the street that would have lunch and a snack and all the different things. You just pop into somebody's house and be fed. Like taking care of each other is a big thing where we're from. And I love that very much. I love that you will be force fed. Like the idea of saying no to food is not really, I think that would confuse all of us. Like if you actually meant no, because you could say no, but you're still going to get a plate put in front of you. Mm-hmm. But if you like really didn't eat it and were like, no, I'm not eating this food, I think we'd at least have a meeting in the next room about it. We'd be like, did you see Mary Elizabeth didn't touch her potatoes, not a lick of butter beans.
I believe she's ill.
I know.
Yeah.
And then
worry about it.
Her mama's called.
I'm going to put her on the prayer list.
Exactly. And that prayer list is my favorite thing.
Now I can say anything about her.
Because bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
You know?
We need to pray for her, and let me tell you exactly why.
Because the Lord laid it on my heart to tell y'all.
Exactly. It has been weighing on my heart.
The Lord laid it on my heart, and I've got to share that, because who am I? Just a man.
I feel called to bear witness.
Exactly.
And y'all, we need to pray for Landon, and let me tell you why.
Exactly.
Then everybody leans in.
Oh yeah, what will really get me to lean in is the phrase, it's not my business to tell.
You didn't hear this from me.
You know? I love that. I'm very nosy though, so it lines up really well.
I can't help being nosy. I love stealing stories.
It's like I'm gathering information, you know, and it's not judgmental. It's just, I just want to know, you know, but we take care of each other where we're from. I think it's like very fun. Katrina was a very good example of that. When you get up to Laurel, nobody's coming to save Laurel from Katrina because the coast got wiped out. New Orleans was a whole thing, right? So we had to do it ourselves, and it was really, they gave me a chainsaw, y'all, and like never before and never again. But we all came together and really made it happen. A very funny story I have to tell about that while I just remembered it. I was chainsawing with the best of them, got a chainsaw first time in my life. Through the woods from me, a mile away, a man, his name is Roger Welch. I can tell y'all, we're not in Laurel. He's not here. So Roger Welch was a trapper. I don't know if y'all have trappers. You do have trappers, but I don't know if that's what y'all call them. But like if you got a possum, you don't want who you call this man, or an alligator, something like that. That's Roger Welch.
We have Bill Terry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a mile through the woods, he lived and he had a bunch of animals, probably not legal. And he comes up to us, and you have to remember there's no phones, there's no internet, there's no way of communication. And he was like, y'all probably need to get inside. And we were like, did it turn around? Did the storm turn around? Like, what's going on? And he was like, well, all my fences fell and a pack of wolves escaped. A herd of European fallow deer, which are specific, and I'll tell you about them in a second. His large boa constrictor, strange cattle, and then a mountain lion. All escaped a mile from a house. So now our houses are destroyed. The trees have fallen everywhere, and we're actively being predated on. Like I'm prey at this moment. And I thought that was very representative of life in Mississippi. Now, nothing ever ate anybody. The cougar I wasn't worried about because I knew that cougar. Because, free daycare in the summer in Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
My first experience on the planet that I remember is being at Vacation Bible School at my grandma's church because you hit them all up and, you get a solid 4 weeks of daycare. In the gym.
Baptist, Methodist, Presbyterian, Church of God. Send them on home.
Exactly. You got them all. This man, Roger Welch, was show and tell for this particular VBS. Couldn't have been 3 years old. It's one of my very first memories. And he came and showed and told that, mountain lion with a leash and a collar. Had a leash and a collar on, and that cougar got wriggled out of the collar, obviously, in the gym with a bunch of tiny children, and it raced around in circles, and then it ran up into the attic, and that's the first thing I remember on this planet. But I remember that it like was coming towards me, and it just kept going. So when he was like, the cougar escaped, I was like, I know that cougar. We're old friends. It's going to be fine. So the cougar was fine. The European fallow deer were a problem. Go look them up afterwards. They have fangs like vampire deer, and they keep their spots for their whole lives, and they bark like dogs, not like deer bark, like a dog barks. And you can probably tell, I can't go tell my family that the deer were barking at me. So for a long time after Katrina, I just had to keep that quiet. And then finally my uncle, who was a civil engineer, so we respect him and how he thinks, he was like, have the deer been barking at y'all? And I was like, yes, thank God. The deer have been barking at me. Are they barking at you? And that was just one example of, taking care of each other during Katrina. We made it happen.
I had cousins down in Pascagoula, and big storm hit. They're rabbit breeders, and but the big storm hit, and there was damage to the rabbit shack, and so they had to bring all the rabbits inside during the storm, and I tried to explain to my mother the following morning that I know that one rabbit doesn't make a noise, but I promise you 200 rabbits do. And I can't, it's like an angry purr. And again, my family there's no way to explain to someone who has not experienced that 200 rabbits trapped inside during a thunderstorm make a noise that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
And you never would have known that, I never would have known a European fallow deer existed.
Exactly.
So here we are, educated. And I'll tell you all this, Mississippi's 16th in the nation in education. We went from 48 to 16th and first in reading this year. In reading improvement. Great. We normally don't do those things. So
yeah.
When you're the worst at everything, though, you only can go up. So it's really nice.
As it stands, I, as a Georgian, live in the state that contributes the least per capita to the performing arts. Oh, wow. Mississippi's looking down on us for that one. So,
not much
contact your elected representatives, please. I would love to give y'all an opportunity. If you have any questions for Landon, I have a microphone right here at the front of the room. You are more than welcome to walk up to it. I know it's terrifying.
It's so intimidating.
It is, and it's right there at the front. They could have snuck that thing in the back. Come on down.
Love your shirt.
So, my husband and I. Oh, okay. Wait. Ooh, that big. We have to go to Mississippi at some point in the next year, for reasons I won't get into, to spend a weekend. So, for both of you, like, give me one or two things that you would.
You think I'm going to
recommend
let
we
it
do.
slide that you're just, for reasons I won't go into?
Of all the people, me and him are the.
Darling,
you basically
make
stood up and said,
something up.
She basically said she got an unspoken prayer request right here.
Those are the most scandalous. Those are my
Scandalous.
It's not. It's sad. It's not.
It's sad. It's sad. You didn't win
a journey for.
You didn't win a weekend in Tunica or anything. I mean, isn't that the goal,
A
really?
weekend in Mississippi. First of all, everything's closed on Sunday, so know that ahead of time.
So buy your booze in advance.
Or like save the Mexican restaurant for Sunday. They stay open.
Okay.
I don't know why, but they do.
Waffle House. I mean, there's always waffles.
There's Waffle House, but I mean, it's just so strange because Laurel is now a tourist town from HGTV. So it's like people come there to tour the town, but it's also just my little town. So it's very silly that they come there to tour the town, you know? So I would say
What part of the
Laurel
city are you going to be in?
See, it's open. Like, it could be. We could go anywhere. You know?
you just got to find a side of the road man who's got good boiled peanuts.
Okay.
If they're misspelled, that's the man
Even
that
better.
you're looking for. Like if it says BOLLP-NUTZ.
Okay.
Those are going to be the
want
best
those
boiled
peanuts.
peanuts you ever had in your life. Best fried chicken you ever had is going to be at a gas station.
Gas station.
Should you find yourself at the Clinton exit off I-20, there is a Chevron there that is, I mean, that fried chicken is slap your mama
It is.
good. And so do not order fried chicken in a restaurant. I don't know why anybody would. Nobody I know at home goes to like Cracker Barrel because that is the food they have at home and better. And so if you are, go smaller, the better. The more sketchy the place looks, the better the food's going to be.
I think it's just like basically pretend like you're going back in time.
'Cause you are, sugar. 'Cause you are.
Okay.
Just pretend like you're time traveling.
Okay.
And it'll be really exciting. An adventure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also, if you go to Vicksburg, you can go to the boats.
Yep.
Win yourself some money.
You can.
Now, most casino gambling in the state of Mississippi is on indigenous lands. However, in the city of Vicksburg, they allow casino gambling on river boats. These, I guess, on the coast too, in
But
Biloxi.
they changed it after Katrina because the casinos got picked up and put on the land. So they were like, I guess we have casinos on the land now within like 100 feet of the water. Literally, that happened.
It was clearly what the Lord intended.
Exactly.
So if you go to Vicksburg, there are these hotels that are sitting on barges and are technically boats. And nobody, I mean, because we're talking about good church going folk, nobody says they're going to the casino. They say they're going to the boats. So you can get some gambling done. They've got nickel slots. It'll keep you busy for a good long while. You can also smoke inside in a surprising number of places in Mississippi. I'm not advertising that as a positive. It just, when you talk about going back in time, you can smoke inside in a shocking number of places in Mississippi. Things you wouldn't expect, like the airport. Yeah, there is the last I flew out of there, which was about 3 years ago. There was still a smoking lounge in the Jackson airport.
We just recently got a casino in Jones County, and nobody was going, and then they let people smoke inside. And it's been going for like 7 years now, so.
Anyone else? Any other questions for Landon? Yes, please. Well, we want them to hear you too.
I know. First, I want to say thank you. I'm from Jackson, so this definitely feels like home. I went to Southern Miss, so I know all about
Southern Miss to the top.
To the top.
Topher's Restaurant.
What'd you say?
Home of Topher's Restaurant.
Oh.
There is a Topher.
They got good hot dogs.
They do have good hot dogs.
So what would convince you to leave Laurel?
That is a very interesting question. It's one that I'm facing right now because I travel all over the place. And the challenge that I face is that the Hattiesburg Airport, which is 30 minutes from my house, just goes to Houston. So even to come here, I had to go to Houston and then fly to Atlanta. And that feels very silly and redundant. So a good airport would really get me. I would love a good airport, but it would be really difficult for me to leave Laurel because I feel like Laurel built me, and what I'm talking about is where I'm from. So I think that's like what I am, and I like that my kid is being educated there in the schools there. He went to a public school of the arts. It was really a great experience for him. Laurel's got a great thing for when he lived there, but that is such a question because sometimes I'm like, there's the whole world at my fingertips. I could take him and raise him anywhere and educate him anywhere. So that is a very good question. I don't know what would make me leave Laurel, and I do get tired of them sometimes, but I ultimately love it. I love like where I'm from, and I love the people, and I love the place. So I just love it very much. I think if I were to leave, it would just be for like a project that is temporary. I don't see myself ever being like, Laurel's not home. That would be so strange. I don't think it'd be possible. I don't think I've got it in me, And I love that. I love that about where we're from.
Yeah. I am getting ready this spring, New Stage Theater in Jackson, where I got my start. I was 17 years old, showed up on the doorstep and was like, put me to work. And they did. And I stayed there for 2 years before I came to Atlanta at 19. And they taught me everything I know. And their 60th anniversary season, they wanted a world premiere. And so I'm bringing them a show. And I am spending a month in Mississippi for the first time since I was 19 years old. My husband will not be joining me for a full month. He's much more in alignment with, it is charming to visit, but I don't want to necessarily experience what it means to make a life there as a queer couple in Mississippi. And I can't begrudge him that. I live in the exact same world he does. I get it. We're living in a time when, I don't know, is it suspicious when it's justifiable? When it really is harder to look at a stranger and see a neighbor? Because you question their motives, you question what they're more than willing to see you give up. And I love Mississippi. I love it. I love it. The play that I'm writing is the first and only time I have written about Mississippi. I feel like I spent 25 years running as far as I could from that place, but it's right there inside of you. You know it, Jackson. Like it's, and so anything that I happen to like about myself grew up from that place too. Yeah. So I'm interested to see, examining, going back for just a little bit longer than usual and really experiencing home in that way.
I really hope it is a good experience. Jackson is a different place than it used to be. It's coming up. It's nicer than it was. I lived there. I went to all the schools in Mississippi. So I have a lot of ADHD. You may have noticed. It could be the air horn, could have been the mountain lion. I don't know. Either way, the doctor gasped after I was tested for this, but I was undiagnosed because that was not the focus of Mississippi in the 90s. So I got to college and I went to all the colleges in Mississippi because I couldn't figure out which one was best for me, and they all kept trying to make me do math. So I went to Mississippi College, so I got to see Clinton, and I went to Mississippi State. I went to Ole Miss, graduated from USM because they were like, something's wrong, and they figured it out. And I was just so glad. But I was glad to get a tour of the state in that way and see how beautiful it is everywhere. It really is beautiful. And here's the thing about I've never, and does not diminish anybody's experiences. Everybody that I meet, I do have rose-colored glasses on always. Everybody that I meet is so lovely and so wonderful. And I don't encounter like aggression often in my experience in the state. I know it's a different time period. And also, like, I dance around, like, with rainbows and sparkles all day long. But I think it's a really good place. And I think there's good everywhere. There's good people everywhere. There's also very bad people. But if you surround yourself with good and show good, I think that is what comes back to you. Obviously, that's not true in every case. But that's my experience in Mississippi, and I love to share that.
Well, and buddy, I mean, I do not have to drive that far outside of the city to find somebody that hates me for something. And so, I mean, if you go looking for it, you will absolutely find it. If you're not looking for it, it can still find you. But again, I can't reiterate enough how much I appreciate what you are doing. Mama would say you're doing the Lord's work. And in a lot of ways, I believe that to be true, because anything that reminds us, it's not even about forging new connections. It's making you aware of the connections that are already there. My snooty friends, that make fun of me for writing for the Hallmark Channel. And I always say, really, how's your movie going? But I've written for Hallmark now for 7 years. My new movie this Christmas is the only movie this year that features a same-gender couple at the center of its storytelling. Now, that's 37 movies they're putting out this year. And so, like, if we're playing the statistics of it, then it's like, okay, trust me, nobody's taken over. You have no reason to feel threatened. I got 1 out of 37 with a couple of lesbians. But it's a female couple who did not anticipate becoming foster parents at Christmas. It is quite literally a story of chosen families. And the source of so much joy in my life is the chosen family that I've managed to gather around me. They only gave me a chance to do that after I wrote 6 movies about straight people first. That's fine. Those checks cleared. And to know that I'm speaking to an audience that is actually receptive to joy. They're seeking the joy of the season.
That's lovely.
Please.
Can I ask? So I think this is important for you to practice because I met Dolly Parton.
Oh, step to the mic and talk about Dolly.
Okay, so I think it's important that you know what you're going to say to her. Because the first time I met her, I was on a photo shoot and we took a picture together. And she took my hand and looked into my eyes and she was like, hello. And the words left me. So my question is, because I think you should know this, what will you say to Dolly when you meet her?
That is going to be really hard. And okay, so I've met a lot of celebrities doing this for whatever reason. Like they all started to follow me. Like I've had to pull over on the side of the road and be like, Jennifer Garner just sent me a message. I can't drive right now, you know? Like that kind of, Kevin Bacon followed me and I panicked about that. And anyways, I do good being cool. In person, so Parker Posey lives in Laurel. She's from Laurel. And we have the same hairline. So, and she's just lovely. And so she's one of the first that I've met that didn't know me first. Like she doesn't know who I am. She does not follow my Instagram or care. Her mama does. And her aunt. And I went straight up to her and was like, I love you so much. And then she left the gala. So I felt really bad about that. So my goal is to not do that. I haven't gotten to what I'm going to say, but I know I'm not going to go up and be like, I love you so much. You know, like that's what I'm going to try to do. But now you've actually, like, my lip got a little sweaty because, like, what am I going to say to Dolly Parton? Like, I'm glad that you presented that challenge to me far ahead of time. I will always remember and be grateful for this. Thank you so much. I'm going to practice it. I'm going to practice it in the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Come on down.
I have a linguistics question for you.
Fun.
Ooh, linguistics question.
So I'm from Appalachia, rural East Tennessee. Dolly.
Oh, step up to the mic.
I'm from Appalachia, rural East Tennessee, Dolly's land. I recently had occasion to teach my daughter who's with me the expression BFE. Turns out there's a lot of different meanings for that expression. What is the Mississippi version? And then I can tell you the rural East Tennessee version.
The question was, what is BFE? Well, I can't say it in mixed company. In Mississippi, how I know it is
I think it's a cussing word in there.
It's a cussing word in there.
But it means like nowhere, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it is middle of nowhere. But the E as I was taught, is Egypt. I see a lot of nods. Yeah.
Okay.
East.
What's the difference? I've heard it East and Egypt. So I was curious about the linguistics.
I love that. And I love Appalachian linguistics. And I sort of feel like a lot of what Mississippi's culture, or at least my area specifically, I feel like it trickled down from Appalachia. There's so much in common with it. And there's this like Scottish heritage to it. I don't know what it is. But do y'all say it smells like corn?
No, that is
Okay.
not. Nope.
I've heard that in Appalachia. And then also the Yuns is a whole thing. That is, I feel like, is Appalachian as well.
BFE. It's in a Morgan Wallen song, which is how it came out.
My friend Andy Marie Tillman is an Appalachian sister version of me, I feel like, and she's very funny. And I love to hear the things that we have in common and the things we don't say and do say. Very fun. Appalachia is a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
I recently had a show in Pittsburgh, and I was so surprised because it was Appalachia, like up there. Strange. They say yins.
It's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
It is.
Apparently on Long Island, it's Egypt.
Okay.
Long Island, California. We have a vote for California. I'm hearing BFE is Egypt.
I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever actually thought about what the words are. It's like BFE has become the term to me. I didn't know. I don't know if I thought about what the words were specifically. So this is fascinating.
Anyone else? Come on up.
So I feel like the strangest Southernism that I grew up with was what my grandmom would call what it's doing if it's like sunny outside and raining.
Yes.
Devil's beating his wife.
Yeah, so much.
Can y'all come up with a stranger one?
Okay, but first, can we talk about that?
Yes.
Because I used to get so upset about the devil's beating his wife. Did y'all a sun shower? The devil's beating his wife. Okay, so I went down a really long rabbit hole. Like, why are we saying this? Why is my precious grandma, who would never say anything, like talking about the devil's beating his wife? And so I went down this whole rabbit hole. And in like the 1890s in Mississippi, there was like this Greek revival situation. I don't know what it was from. Could have been racist. I don't know. You know, like, I don't know. But mostly Greek revival type situation. And that's when that phrase is first encountered. And I think it has something to do with Persephone and Demeter's tears. Okay. You know, because Persephone is with the devil and Demeter is sad because it rained. And I think that's where that came from. Still inexcusable, but wild. I used to be really like, what is this? What does this mean? You know?
So the challenge on the table here is, so devil beats his wife. And by the way, like, would we think the devil would be a good husband?
Well, when did they get married? I did not get invited. You know? We know about the weddings in the town.
So devil beats his wife is big, hellacious thunderclap thunderstorm. So that we're agreed upon terms?
No, it's, the sun is shining and it's raining.
Sun is shining and it's raining.
Yes.
All right. And the challenge is, can you come up with a different expression for sun is shining and it's raining?
I mean, we could call it a sun shower.
I was thinking more like a term that Southerners would use, a descriptive term that Southerners would use that we know what we're talking about, but is stranger than devil's beating his wife.
Oh, stranger than devil
when
beating
it's
his
raining
wife.
and it's
A stranger.
Oh,
I mean, that one's really out there. That's really far.
that's really good. I am going to percolate on that and try to give that.
I'm going to ask the internet and see what they have to say. It'll be full of crazy
I'm going to
comments.
ask Siri.
One thing I want to say is this is the most fun I've had in a while. I mean, you know, most people just aren't that funny. And y'all are really funny. And I've never seen you before, but Topher, I just worship him. And if you get a chance to go see one of his things, are you doing anything at On Stage this year?
No, but I have already invited him to Jackson. We got plans. He's going to bring the wife. We're going to have a great time. We're going to go out to Kiefer's.
Okay, and I got one. I love, when we were in the Navy, my husband was in the Navy, and we were really young and everything. Anyway, one of the wives called and said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm fixing a vacuum. And she said, you're fixing your vacuum?
Right.
I said, well, no. But the other thing, the weather thing that my husband used to say, I never heard of it, is if it's pouring rain, it's a frog strangler.
A frog strangler.
I've heard frog strangler. I hadn't thought about that in ages.
I had never.
My granddaddy used to say that.
See?
It's really violent when you think about it.
I told y'all. When y'all see that on a video, that's what y'all know where it happened. I don't even have to work for the content. It really just comes to me.
Gully washer.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
Coming down cats and dogs.
Coming down cats and dogs. Classics never die.
Okay, do you use the term journey proud in Mississippi?
Journey proud. Elaborate for me, please.
Journey proud.
Okay, what does it what does that mean?
Tell me more.
It's Southern, but I'm not real sure from where, but I grew up with it. It means the night before you go on a journey or travel, you can't sleep very well. You're a little excited. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. It's a good
Wow.
Oh my God.
journey proud.
I never knew there was a term for that.
I did not know there was a word for that. And if that ain't the experience of being Southern, I did not know there was a word for that.
Yeah, that's
like being German. We've got something for everything.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I love that. I love that you said that. I'm going to use that for sure.
Please tell us more things your Meemaw said. Up.
I'll give you one too.
Give me one.
Do you know he doesn't have the brains that God gave a dead billy goat?
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't have the brains, but God gave a dead billy goat.
And his elevator doesn't go all the way to the top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It won't be noticed on a galloping horse.
Oh, that's good.
All right.
That's good. Oh, she's coming down with one.
I don't have an expression.
Okay, well, we might give you one.
lady.
What do you got?
So in school the other day, we had to talk about stereotypes and like harmful stereotypes. And one of them was Southern. And because, well, my mom's the most Southern lady I know, I was pretty good at finding good stereotypes. So like, what's a favorite stereotype that you think's funny? And like, what's a really bad Southern stereotype?
Well, I think like there's the stereotype of like barefoot and backwards type stereotype. And that one is not true. Maybe backwards, but we're not barefoot because there's ants and stickers in the yard, you know? Like, I don't know anybody walking around the yard barefoot because of that. So I love that one. I love to say that very much. And then also the flip side of that is that we were barefoot walking around in the stickers and the ants. But we shouldn't have been, you know? We shouldn't have been.
There's a stereotype that I happen to love, that when cast as a negative, it's that Southerners can be very intrusive. And when cast, in my experience, more often than not, Southerners are innately curious and may lack boundaries. And so you get where y'all from, what church you go to, who are your people, and
who are your people? Who's your mama in them?
Who's your mama? Are you part of the Bryants that lived on Valley Road?
And we were not. We're a singular Bryant family in Mississippi, if you wondered. Not related to the other ones.
And so there's an expectation. And I happen to love that. I love that we are a curious.
I am intensely nosy. Even the most viral I've gone on the internet is from being nosy right now. There's like 50 million views on this video of me and a cat out of all the things I've worked for years. And then this cat used my voice and now it's everywhere.
For me, it's the Giving Tree. Like, yeah, 9 million people have downloaded the Giving Tree. Thank you. Haven't made a dime off it. Which is the way things will work sometimes. I had every expectation that we would run up against the brick wall of our allotted time. That's what happens when you get two gabby people up here and we have too much fun. Thank you so much. Landon Bryant.